What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Thursday, August 18th. It's day 44 inside the Big Brother house. And we got some stuff to go over. We had the Veto episode last night. We also have a huge episode tonight with the eviction. 2-hour episode. First half will be the rest of the Veto because we didn't actually see that in the episode. And then it will get into the eviction. And then a huge twist we've never seen before in Big Brother, and I'm really excited to see how this splitting of the house will all take place. But let's start things off real quickly. We do have another birthday message to give out. Nikki, it's your birthday today. You mentioned it in the comments a couple days ago. How about a little song for Nikki? This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. All right, let's get into the episode. So just a quick recap for you. Not much really happened in it other than they did kind of show the whole idea of putting Joseph up as the replacement nominee, as a pawn, just to kind of hide numbers and all that kind of stuff. But that was an idea that really didn't stick long. As soon as the veto was won, that was pretty much out the door, and they were never going to actually do it. They did show in the veto competition the whole process of Alyssa taking the prize from Taylor when the veto was available, and also how she warned her. She's like, remember, I still have a replacement nom to make. And Alyssa still took the prize to London anyway, even though she didn't get to keep it and ended up getting only $5,000 as her prize for taking that away from Taylor, which is still, you know, pretty good, but especially in this scenario, it's just never a good look not to take the veto, especially when you're taking something from the HOH. If she had taken a prize from Terrance, nobody would have cared. But the fact that she took it from the HOH when she had a chance to take the veto, as someone who claims to have been a super fan, because almost everybody now at this point claims to be a super fan, Alyssa definitely didn't make a very smart decision there. And they are showing how that is potentially what could have set her up to go home. But with Kyle winning the veto, we all know from the feeds that it was not a very likely situation where he was going to end up using it so that she could go on the block instead. I was very interested, too, to see how against the idea Michael was in the DR. He called it like a really dumb move, which, to be fair, for his personal game, yeah, it's kind of a bad idea. But as far as the leftovers as a whole, it's really not. It separates Kyle and Alyssa. It makes sure that he would be much more loyal to the actual alliance than he would to his showmance. But again, he's at the point where he's trying to set himself very much in the middle of the alliance so that when the infighting does start happening, he can get overlooked and everybody else starts taking shots at each other. That's something we'll actually get into more in the live feed update as well. I will say, too, it's very much the edit is setting up this whole idea that it's going to be Joseph and Michael really kind of going head-to-head because I think both of them right now, honestly, are the best gamers and have the best strategic mind in the house. Joseph really is playing a very good social game and keeping himself very much in the middle to try and set up himself properly for jury votes and jury management. Because now that we're in that jury phase of the game, that's the game, right? Making sure that the people you send home are going to be the people that are also voting for you when you make it to the end. You also have to balance that with getting to the end in the first place. So it's kind of a bit of a spinning plate routine that you have to pull off here. So Michael is seeing that Joseph is set up really well, and definitely somebody that if he gets a chance, especially with this split house scenario, he might end up taking a shot at him. But otherwise, that pretty much covers what happened in the episode. We ended on like a cliffhanger where it's like, will the veto get used? Will Alyssa get put up as a replacement? Like, we'll see. So we'll see all of that chaos that happened with Kyle not wanting to use it and the leftovers being like, dude, why are you pushing back on this so much? So we'll definitely see all that in tonight's episode in the very beginning, which kind of sucks because that means they're going to stretch it out even more. We kind of assume that that first hour would just be the normal kind of eviction episode hour, but now we're getting the veto in there, so I guess they're feeling like they need some filler in there. even though they're going to have plenty of it with all of the different punishments that they're going to have to show. But yeah, that pretty much covers the episode. Let's jump into what actually happened on the feeds. We started off with a real lazy day. The house kids did not want to get out of bed. It was a little bit of a long night for a lot of them. They were doing some drinking during Jasmine's birthday party, which was, like we discussed in yesterday's update, just one of the most awkward birthdays ever. And it just kind of took them a while to get running and get into the swing of things this morning. We did actually get to see a little bit of the Indy performances that she's been doing. They haven't been showing that on the feeds, but we caught just a quick second of it where her and Alyssa were playing the drums and guitar for the rock show. So expect to see a lot of that in tonight's episode, along with all the other punishments like Terrance's tattoos, which he finally finished up today, as well as the Skid and Francie punishment that Taylor and Joseph are having to pull with them being tied together. That also ended today as well, so we'll see all of that in tonight's episode. Other than that, Kyle and Brittany did have a conversation where she kind of spelled it out for him that she's not very comfortable with the way he's trying to split the alliance and the lines he's trying to draw, saying it's not a good look and it's something that could follow you and probably would follow you outside of the house. And he pretty much quadrupled down at this point on his stance with it, where he said, well, it's fine based on what happened last year. Which is my biggest concern when the cookout kind of happened last year. Personally, I really didn't have a problem with the cookout. I actually thought it was a smart strategic move for all of them to finally get together like that and kind of run the game the way they did, and how impressive they were with running the game. But the downside is it was setting up for stuff like this to happen. I honestly didn't expect it to happen so soon the following season, where it would kind of be used against anybody like that. But that's definitely seems to be where it's going. And you hate to see it. Other than that, Joseph and Taylor, even though they are tethered, they kind of continue to be ending their fomance, right? The kind of show they've been putting on for the house to try and get them to believe that they're interested in each other, and that's why they were kind of talking and working together. But now at this point, they kind of want to, pull back on that so it doesn't continue to make themselves a huge target, especially with the upcoming weeks, and they wouldn't want to be ended up on the block together. Brittany and Michael also had a meeting where they discussed trying to get the pound. They don't know it's called the pound, but at this point, they're very aware that the four guys who were the initial starters of the leftovers have a tight bond, that being Kyle, Monte, Joseph, and Turner. So their goal is to get the four of them to start fighting each other and taking shots so that they can kind of slide on through. And it seems to me like they are kind of settling in on like, yeah, let's focus in on the final three deal that we have with Taylor so that we can get to the end with her and let everybody else kind of take each other out. Other than that, we mentioned how a lot of the punishments all finished up today. Indy's still wearing her unitard, the punkaroo outfit that she has to wear. So that will probably be a thing that happens in the episode where even everybody's kind of standing there. They'll make her go to the front. I almost guarantee something like that's going to happen on the episode. But otherwise, all the punishments are over. Terrance still has all his tattoos on, but he doesn't have any more that he has to add on to them either. I don't know. Seems like we're going to get a lot of filler in this episode tonight that I was really hoping would be a lot more fun, but I still have some hope that it's going to be pretty good. We did have the halfway party yesterday. So every season, they always kind of do halfway through. They'll have a kind of a big party for them. They'll get some food, like pizza, and they'll have a big cake with all their faces on it. And this year, what was kind of funny was all the house guests took out their pictures from there, but they left all the evicted house guests on the cake. So that was kind of funny. And then later on, towards the end of the night, Taylor actually went down and smashed Ameerah's face into Joseph's face, just kind of wiping the frosting on his cheek. So that was kind of funny to see. Jasmine also mentioned how, because today is her actual birthday as well. I guess happy birthday to Jasmine. You don't get a song. She did mention that there was a few more hours left for her birthday, which Turner, oh man, what a comeback. He said, Jasmine, it's not just your birthday, because she said it's her birthday week. She's like, there's still a few more hours for my birthday. It's my birthday week after all. So Turner responded to that saying, it's your birthday month. It's your birthday year. It's your birthday lifetime. Just kind of being super sarcastic with her. And I loved it. There was some other drama involving Jasmine, Joseph. And I to be honest, I don't know 100% when this conversation happened with Joseph and Indy. But I would imagine what it was to kind of set up more of the idea that him and Taylor are splitting apart and that Fomance isn't real. But apparently what he told Indy was, do you think anybody, is interested in me in the house? She's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe. And he's like, you don't think so? He's like, no, I don't know. It's possible. And he goes, even like, what if it was somebody who was unavailable? And Indy's like, oh, yeah. She then later went to have a conversation with Jasmine and Alyssa late at night. And this is where I was kind of filled in on what this all was. And Alyssa and Jasmine were like, well, who could he mean? And Jasmine's like, well, there's only two. There's only two people that are unavailable. And what they're inferring is that he thinks, or is he's interested in Alyssa or Jasmine. Now, honestly, I think this is all just that Joseph messing with them and causing them to be like, ooh, what's going on? But it is something, I guess, to keep an eye on. They said they were going to try and grill him while the feeds are down today, while they set up for the actual eviction. They have a couple of times where they know the feeds are down. They'll put them up in the HOH room and lock them up there as the house is kind of set up for the eviction episode. And then later on in the day when the feeds finally go down and they're getting ready for the actual live show. So expect that to be maybe a subject of conversation going forward. And then late last night, it was all about the votes. Indy is leaving tonight, but they were kind of discussing, who should vote where and what should happen with the votes. Oh, that I completely forgot something else that really kind of goes into this. So after Brittany and Michael had a conversation about how, wanting to get the boys to all fight each other, she did end up going and having a conversation with Indy where she discussed her vote. And she was telling her, like, I don't know if I believe that Jasmine and Alyssa are voting the way they're voting. She said, I just get a really bad feeling, and I feel like they're lying to me about it. And Indy's like, oh, no, they're voting to keep me, like, 100%. She's like, all right, but I'm not 100% sure. And most of the people in the house kept telling Indy, like, oh, yeah, I'm leaning towards keeping you, but I haven't talked to Terrance yet. I don't think anybody actually talked to Terrance all day. And that conversation with Indy and Brittany was then followed up with the four girls, Indy, Jasmine, Alyssa, and Brittany, up in the Have Not room. So they went up there to kind of discuss what was going on. And in there, Jasmine and Alyssa, they were a little hesitant on saying, oh, yeah, we're keeping Indy. Brittany, you should vote to keep Indy. It was more on, yeah, we're leaning towards keeping Indy, but we haven't really discussed it. Alyssa brought up the idea. She's like, well, I already voted for Terrance once to leave, so doing it again would really kind of hurt. So it, in a way, it kind of confirmed the Indy, like, Brittany was, look what Brittany was telling you, and now they're saying this in front of you, which later, when Brittany and Indy kind of met up to discuss it again, Indy said, oh, well, she was just testing you. She said to me, I just said that in front of Brittany because I wanted to test if she was going to be loyal. And Brittany's like, Why does that make sense? We're supposed to be in the girls, which the girls isn't even on my alliance chart anymore. That's been long gone. But, right, if they're supposed to be in an alliance and you're testing me on my vote, like, shouldn't they have been very secure with their vote, saying, yeah, we're voting to keep Indy, to give Brittany confidence in voting to keep Indy? So I think what Brittany's trying to do here is lay those seeds of doubt into Indy to make her confused about what happens with the vote. Since there's possibilities of being a tie, they'd rather avoid the tie if possible. Joseph most likely is going to vote to keep Terrance and vote Indy out. So if anything, it could end up being, what would that be? 3 votes to keep Indy. How many people are voting tomorrow? Let me look at the chart. 1, 2, 3 would vote for Indy to stay. Well, 2 would vote for Indy to stay, possibly with a third one either being Michael or Brittany. They haven't really discussed whether or not they're actually going to do that or not, but it would be Alyssa and Jasmine keeping Indy, everybody else voting for Terrance to stay. So that would be Monte, Joseph, Turner, Kyle, and then Brittany or Michael would be 5 to 2, or it could be 6 to 1. Am I getting my numbers right? Is that what it would be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, so yeah, it would be 5 to 3. Yeah, 5 to 3 or 6 to 2. With it also being possible that it would be a 4 to 4 tie, and then Taylor would have to split the vote. But honestly, I think it's going to end up being just maybe Jasmine and Indy vote, or Jasmine and Alyssa voting to keep Indy, where everybody else just votes out Terrance, so that they don't have to worry about a tie or any weird stuff like that. But they are trying to set up for the reasons why Michael and Joseph especially wouldn't vote for Indy to stay. And the idea right now is to have it be where Joseph and Brittany started to compare notes, because both of them have asked the others about other alliances that might be going on and the worry that maybe they're being lied to and played. So the idea would be that Joseph and Brittany compared notes. She told him about girls, and he told her about the 5 swatters, and that's why their votes ended up going the way they did. Basically saying, like, look, you guys played us this whole time. What do you expect us to do? So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that all plays out, especially with this new twist and everything that's going to be going on tonight. We still aren't 100% sure how this is all going to play out. The only things we know for certain is that the 10 house guests that are left are going to be split into 2 groups, 5 in each. We don't know how they're going to be split. We don't know how that's all going to be determined, but we do know that those 2 groups will not have any interaction for an entire week. And then on next Thursday, 1 week from today, we will see 2 house guests go, 1 from each group that it split into. Other than that, from what we understand, there will be 2 vetoes, 4 nominees total, 2 HOHs. And depending on how these groups are all split up, those competitions are huge. Only 2 people are going to be voting when eviction night rolls around. So if those 2 people aren't on the same page, it's going to be down to the HOH to break a tie. Veto is huge if you want to stay safe this week. So it's going to be a really interesting week inside this Big Brother house, and I'm excited. We don't even know how the feeds are going to be set up, right? Like, are 2 cameras going to be on one side? Are 2 cameras going to be on the other? Where are they going to be living? Is it going to be in the backyard? Is it going to be in a separate location on the lot? Will they just be putting a wall up somewhere in the house to separate the upstairs and the downstairs? It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out. We've never seen anything like this in Big Brother. There's a few things that I'm worried about. If they somehow let them do kind of a pick on who goes to which group, that could ruin things. That would take a lot of the drama out of it. I want it to be as random as possible, right? Like almost like how Survivor does the merge and the splitting of the tribes, or when they flip the tribes. Everybody just grabs a buff. They have no clue. It could be orange. It could be purple. Whatever the colors are for Survivor. They change every year. But it could be any of the colors, and it's just luck of the draw on which one you get. So that would be kind of the best case scenario, where maybe everybody just pulls something out of like the veto box, right? Like maybe they pull their chip out. Maybe it's just from the competition, and they don't even know how they finish is going to split them up. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out, and I'm very excited for it. This whole week, while it did have some interesting things going on with different flips and talks throughout it, the real focus has been what is going to happen this week coming up. This is going to be really fun and interesting to see how this all plays out. I have a strong feeling that at least one leftover will leave in this twist, even without seeing how the groups are going to unfold. I just feel like it might be too tempting for at least one of the groups not to take a shot at somebody like a Michael or a Monte or a Joseph or even a Kyle. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. I'm really excited for it. I know you guys probably are too. Tonight we will be live here on the channel for a watch along of the episode. It's a 2-hour episode starting at 9 o'clock Eastern. And that's what let me grab a drink. Whew. Let me grab a quick little drink here. I will be live here on the channel, covering the whole situation. We'll see everything that goes down, live reactions to all of it. I'm very excited to see it go down. And like I said, it will be at the start of the episode, Eastern time. So 9 p.m. Eastern. Check your local listings on what time that is for you. But we'll be live right here on the channel. So make sure if you are new here, you hit that subscribe button. You hit that like button. Especially if you made it all the way through this video, smash that like button right down there. And hit that notification bell so you get a notification as soon as I go live tonight. Other than that, there are a bunch of links from all my socials down below. You can find my Twitter, my Twitch, our Discord. You can hop in over there. I have a little birthday bot set up, but it seems like the bot is broken, so I have to kind of figure that out on how we'll get that all set up. But I do have a channel in the Discord where you can post what your actual birthday is, so then I can just at least add it to the list later, because it's been kind of fun doing a little birthday shout outs for everybody, especially when they name it. They mention it in the comments down there. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching. The support I've been shown on this channel has been amazing. I can't thank you all enough. We've grown so much this season, and it's really thanks to all of you. This has just been a wild ride, and it's made this season even more fun than it already was. I've been having so much fun watching this season, but each and every one of you make it even that much more special. But yeah, that pretty much covers everything that happened on the feeds, on the episode. Let me know in the comments down below how excited you are for this new twist. And hey, maybe give me what your best case scenario groups would be. How about that? Tell me what 2 groups, if you could split them however you wanted, let me know in those comments down below what your picks would be for each group. But thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you tonight.